Donald Trump woke up this morning blaming the disastrous economy on former President Biden and also on rigged elections. Donald Trump also spread Putin propaganda in social media posts, and then, like the huckster he is, said the economy is going to be booming. Well, let's take a look at the worst University of Michigan inflation expectation numbers. They keep track of consumer expectations. This since 1993. Take a look at this. Consumers expect inflation, and they expect that it is going to be bad. Also, this morning, we saw the worst University of Michigan consumer sentiment since 2022. But according to Donald Trump's post, our economy will boom like never before. What, like all of your failed businesses where you declared bankruptcy over and over again and said what a great business person you were? Then Donald Trump blames the disastrous economy on former President Biden. Early in the morning, Donald Trump posted the following: "Crooked Joe Biden got us into a real mess with Russia and everything else, but I'm going to get us out. Millions of people are needlessly dead, never to be seen again, and there will be many more to follow if we don't get the ceasefire and the final agreement with Russia completed and signed. There would have been no war if I were president. It just 100% would not have happened. Likewise, there would have been no October 7th with Israel. The pullout from Afghanistan would have been done with strength and pride and would not have been the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. It could have been a moment of glory. Also, there would not have been any perceptible inflation. Instead, we had record-setting, country-destroying inflation like we have never seen before. Also, we would have had an impenetrable border with very few illegals getting in. Oh, what a difference a rigged and crooked election had on our country, and the people who did this to us should go to jail. God bless America and make America great again. They should all go to jail because of Donald Trump's lies." This is the most pathetic, whiny piece of crap that exists. This is what he's talking about right now this morning, saying that the 2020 election was rigged, blaming all of his failures on former President Biden. Here's what I know, that according to the Wall Street Journal and every objective piece of data that existed, Donald Trump was handed a Goldilocks economy, an economy that the Wall Street Journal said was the envy of the world, where GDP was expected to keep on surging, where former President Biden created record-setting jobs, 16.4 million jobs created, record low unemployment, 40,000 infrastructure projects. He was actually focusing on things that matter to we the people, like reducing prescription drug prices, increasing access to education and healthcare. Then Donald Trump and Elon Musk come in with a sledgehammer, fire everybody basically who works at the government, destroy Medicaid, destroy Social Security, ruin the lives of our veterans, and then have the audacity to blame it on former President Biden as the economy is heading towards a great recession or a depression. Are you absolutely kidding me? It's why he was always unfit to even be near the proximity of power, yet alone to actually be a leader, yet alone to be entrusted with the highest position in our country. Then Donald Trump spews Russian propaganda. "We had a very good and productive conversation with President Vladimir Putin of Russia yesterday, and there is a very good chance that this horrible bloody war can finally come to an end." You said that you were going to solve it on day one. You said, in fact, before day one, you had the best relationships with Zelensky and Putin, that there would be peace, not even a ceasefire, a deal, that the war would end. But here you're saying that you spoke to Putin, and then you go, but at the very moment, thousands of Ukrainian troops are completely surrounded by the Russian military in a very bad and vulnerable position. I have strongly requested to President Putin that their lives be spared. This would be a horrible massacre, one not seen since World War II. God bless them all. First, God bless them all. You God blessing Putin in there? Who's the all in that? And also, you're just spewing the Putin propaganda. That's not even true. And to the the extent the Ukrainian military has any perceived vulnerabilities right now, it's because for a period of time you shut off active intelligence and shut down their satellite systems so you could try to force a massacre as a part of your negotiating strategy, if there's even one at all, other than you waking up like the disgruntled fool that you are, filled with rage and retribution, just making stupid posts like this. What you're saying there is 100% false. Oh, and by the way, you know what Putin is saying? You know what all the Russian oligarchs are saying? Why would they ever do a ceasefire? They have no interest in peace. They want to genocide all of Ukraine, you idiot. It's the stupidest people running this country. Another case in point, Donald Trump goes, Canada needs America. America does not need Canada. Okay, well, guess what? Canada's boycotting all America things. Canada's boycotting America tourism. Canada was and America were the top trading partners to each other. Now you screwed that up. You know what that's going to cost Donald Trump? Jobs. And I know you and your billionaire buddies who party in Mar-a-Lago do whatever the hell weird crap you do at Mar-a-Lago with like freaking weirdo mermaids swimming around in your swimming pools there. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, and this crap hurts our lives, Donald. So while you and your Mar-a-Lago billionaires are out there popping your whatever champagne or, you know, whatever you do, or buying Teslas, the American people are suffering because of this. And here, Maria Bartiromo brings on Howard Lutnick, Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, and he acts like he heard this data for the first time, that the well-respected Atlanta Federal Reserve is predicting a 2.4% contraction in the first quarter of the economy. All of the data is suggesting we're heading into a recession. And Howard Lutnick, like the huckster that he is, goes, what? What are we talking about here? Watch this.
We've seen worries about growth. I know you said you're not expecting a recession, but investors are on edge over the possibility of a recession this year after the Atlanta Federal Reserve said that it's predicting a 2.4% contraction in the first quarter. And of course, President Trump would not
what?
make
Wait. Say that again. A what? What?
The Atlanta Federal Reserve
contraction?
Correct. First quarter.
Okay, right here, right now. That is ridiculous.
Okay. Have you spoken to the president of the Atlanta Federal Reserve? Have you told
Absolutely
the Atlanta?
Not.
Have you told the Atlanta Fed that you say it's ridiculous because they're out with this contraction prediction for the? And I know that you and President Trump are handed a mess. I'm not arguing that, but now we're talking about recession, and I asked President Trump about it this week, and he didn't say no.
And here Howard Lutnick attacks the EU. Let's play it.
The world, just let us rebuild. America needs to be in charge. Let us rebuild our steel and aluminum domestic production. And when we do that, tariffing our American whiskey, I mean, why is that credible? It seems illogical. So Donald Trump is just reminding the European Union who's in charge. Who do they run their big budget deficits with? You know, their trade deficits. They trade with us huge amounts. We buy their stuff all day, every day, and they need to respect Donald Trump, and he's going to teach them how to do that.
Should show you this headline as well. Enough is enough. Greenland's prime minister flatly rejects Trump's calls for annexation. Greenland's leaders expressed anger and rage after Donald Trump said U.S. acquisition of the Arctic territory will happen during comments at the Oval Office. And here's just a great example of Donald Trump announcing all of these fake deals. Remember when I interviewed New York Attorney General Letitia James, who prosecuted the civil case against Donald Trump for fraud, where Trump would just make up numbers, billion this, billion that, billion this. Well, in the Trump organization, that often leads to civil verdicts against him or findings against him or whatever. But in America, that leads to we the people suffering. So Trump just makes something up like this. So Trump met with the head of GM and he goes, GM says they want to invest $60 billion. The GM spokesperson's asked about the $60 billion ago. We share Trump's goals of strong and competitive American manufacturing base. No mention of any deal like that as well. One of the things we also learned this morning is the Arlington Cemetery website drops links for Black, Hispanic, and women veterans. The website for Arlington National Cemetery unpublished links to lists of notable graves, walking tours, and educational material pertaining to Black, Hispanic, and women veterans, as well as some Medal of Honor recipients. Okay, if that doesn't enrage you, that's what Donald Trump's doing this morning while he's crushing our economy. I I mean, I just wake up so pissed off at this guy, but I also wake up hopeful, knowing that when the resistance and the opposition sees this crap, I don't care what political party you're from, you should go, what the hell are these crooks doing? What are these idiots doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. Here's Donald Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi saying her big prosecutorial priority, she's got to protect Elon Musk's Teslas. Yes, maybe women are second-class citizens, or women are second-class citizens in the United States, but you know who are first-class citizens? Teslas, the vehicles. Play this clip.
We have people we're locking up on that. We have someone in jail right now from one of the dealerships. They threw a Molotov cocktail through a dealership. They're looking at up to 20 years in prison. So if you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
Wow.
And if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
And then finally, you have Donald Trump's chief propagandist over here, Caroline Leavitt, say that, there was a ruling that said these probationary employees need to be rehired immediately, that the firing for them was unlawful. And here's Caroline Leavitt in this morning saying, we will not let this happen. This ruling is unconstitutional.
Judge has ruled that tens of thousands of fired federal workers must be reinstated immediately. Okay, Karen, how are you going to fight that?
Well, let's talk about the absurdity of this, Stu. You have a single lower district court judge who ruled that all of these individuals need to be rehired, just usurping the executive authority of President Trump to fire federal workers. This cannot be allowed to happen. This ruling was unconstitutional. The White House and the Trump administration are prepared to fight back.
The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to not follow the court orders? What's their plan? And I think that's the Trump administration's next plan. Reject what the courts are doing, don't comply with the orders, and have another constitutional crisis over that. Economic crisis, constitutional crisis, logic crisis. That's what it's like to live in the Trump regime. Not a government, a regime. Not a government by the people, for the people. A regime for Donald Trump and Elon Musk and oligarchs. And we, the people, need to stand up. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.